All right, so Mario Strikers came out on Friday. Of course, I picked it up immediately. I've been looking forward to this game ever since it was announced. Even before that, it was being rumored, and I was getting excited around the idea of Mario Strikers coming out on the Switch, with how Nintendo seems to be getting a bit more serious with their online. I mean, they're charging money now for it. So I kind of expected this to have a pretty robust online, maybe a career mode and all of that. Well, as someone who's been playing Mario Strikers quite a bit over the years still. In fact, here's the Mario Strikers casing, right? There's actually Mario Strikers isn't even in there right now, which you do see over here, the GameCube behind me hooked up to the TV, right? Well, Mario Strikers isn't in there. It's in the dedicated GameCube that I have hooked up to the monitor here. That's right. I have a dedicated GameCube for Mario Strikers. You know what other games hooked up to that TV or the monitor? It's Halo Infinite. And ironically, these games actually have a lot in common. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure that like button and subscribe if you're new here. So I have a major problem with Mario Strikers right now. The good news, I don't think the major problem that I have is something that will be that difficult for Nintendo and Next Level Games to patch. But I do believe we have to step back and look at this game overall, with like its current launch condition. I'm going to start with some of the positive. The gameplay. It's very fun. I like the moment-to-moment action in the game. I think it flows nicely. The frame rate is solid. I haven't had any hiccups. Like the cutscenes are lowered frame rate. You could tell when it happens, but the camera cuts are pretty quick for that. You can skip most of them, and you're not actually controlling or playing during those cutscenes. So it's a very minor thing in the game. I have no problem with the controls. That's come up as well, where people feel like they are just too complicated. And in a sense, if you just look at the diagram, kinda. But if someone sat down next to me and said, okay, what are the controls? I could very quickly say, hey, okay, you have A and B. Those are the two main ones you have to worry about. You got pass, you got shot. And like, that's it. You know, I just point on the controller, pass, shot, you move around here. And that'll at least get them started. Then you throw in lob shots, you throw in perfect shots, lob passes, all these different things you can do on top of that. And then you add in the strategy, the dodging. So it is that sense of it's easier to pick up, but it's harder to master overall. So all of that stuff I'm fine with. The graphics, they look good. Like, Next Level Games is very good with their animation, their visual style. Really enjoy what they did with Luigi's Mansion 3. I still think that's the best looking game on the Switch, just outright. So I'm not surprised that the overall presentation with the visuals are where they are. That's what I expect from Next Level Games. I also like the idea of being able to sync up 8 controllers to one system. While I don't think I'm going to do that anytime soon, it's nice to know that in like a party setting, you could do that. Like, it's very possible. It's not very often you flip over the back of a box and see an 8 there next to like the multiplayer icon. Now, moving to some of the negative stuff and then getting to the big thing that I have an issue with. Content is indeed lacking, like severely, shockingly so. You start it up, there's like 6 options on the main menu. 2 of them are settings. One's training. The other one's a cup battle. One's online play, and the other one's like club settings or clubs. So you have the cup battles. Those are straight out of the GameCube version, basically, where you go through a bracket, play against different CPU opponents, and you get coins from doing that. You can use the coins to buy gear items that plus and minus stats, so you can add to one stat while removing from others, which this just allows you essentially to edit the different characters' stats. Maybe you want to be Toad, who's really fast with a good shot, but you don't care about your technique. You can do that. There you go. But outside of that, there's not much else to do. Like, you're then going online. Like, that's kind of it, right? So this is a game that you would buy if you had like a bunch of friends around you. That's kind of it, because you can still take 4 people into the cup battles on the same screen. Sure, that can be fun. It's what I spent a lot of time doing with the GameCube version back in the day, mid-2000s. Even during the 360, PS3 era, I was still playing Mario Strikers on the GameCube all the time, right? So, moving to the online mode, this is the part where I was baffled. And this is where I am the most, like, just frustrated with this game, because I just talked about a game that at its core is very, very good. The single player is extremely lacking. There's no career mode, there's no nothing there, right? So, at that point, I go, okay, the time must have been spent on the online mode. That has to be robust, well built out. Maybe they have their own invite system, their own party system, all this stuff, right? Customization, everything. But I get in there and I start telling people, hey, let's get online. People from the Spawncast. Let's get 4 people in a room. Let's go play some Mario Strikers and see how it does. You can only have 2 people in one room. And I don't understand this at all. It's such a massive drawback. You know what's interesting? I'm looking online. I don't think like anyone really knew this. And that's the part. I see a lot of people go, oh, you can't sync up. Like you can sync up 8 controllers to the system. But if you go online to do quick play, you can only do 4 switches in one room. This is for quick matches where 2 switches on each team. And then you need 2 people per switch so you can get to 8. Why can't you just sync up or connect 8 Switch systems and play that way? Like, are we to the point where an 8-person lobby is out of reach for Nintendo? Because, I mean, they're Splatoon. Anyway, back to the whole matchmaking thing with the clubs. 2 people in a room, essentially. Now, you can do 2 Switch systems, then 2 people per Switch system, so you can get 4 people on one team. This sounds confusing because it is. You should be able to have 4 Switch systems in one room. I can't imagine this is something that will be that hard for Nintendo and Next Level Games to understand with the game where there are 4 players on the field and they are leaning into the competitive scene. The idea with seasons and clubs going up against each other, and you do get rewards for winning against other clubs. There's 2 different currencies that pay out. There's one that's for the club in particular. So you can have 20 people in a club, right? And the idea is if everyone's online, technically, you can have 5 teams of 4 just go out online and start playing and trying to rack up these coins and build up your club's rank, right? Not quite. No, you can do 10 teams of 2 and you do it that way, which, again, that's just how Nintendo, I guess, is doing it here. It's so strange. But the idea is you don't want to play with computer teammates because they don't know what they're doing half the time. I've seen so many times of computer opponents staring at the other player that I'm against while they just do a super strike in their face. Like, you tackle them and stop them from doing it. No, the CPU opponent will just watch. And on top of that, I know there's no voice chat, but I've accepted that much based on how Nintendo has approached this entire generation where they're just petrified of any kind of social interaction on their system. I can open up Discord at least and communicate with the other 3 people on the team that I have compiled into this room. I cannot communicate with these computer teammates who are just not actually participating unless I switch to them and then move them around, which means that setting up plays, off the ball movements, these different things, it's not really possible. And it's unfortunate because it does actively hurt this game online from a competitive standpoint. Something they really want with this club mode, as there is going to be a season that starts in 9 days. Why it hasn't started already at launch, I don't know, but it is clearly a live service game from Nintendo and Next Level Games. They are going to be adding characters. There seems to be at least 10 of them based on data mining. They're going to be adding arenas. And at this point, they're going to be adding modes in for the game. This is something that I have to imagine just launched early and they wanted the $60 for it and they're like, we'll fix it later. That sounds like a live service game to me. And I feel like we're beyond the days of the Wii and the Wii U where online was free and you would look at it and say, Nintendo's doing the best they can. We can't really complain about free, right? Well, no, money's changing hands now. That's out the window. So when I look at this and the basics of, can I get 4 different Switch systems into a room and matchmake online for a game that has 4 different players on the field, and that's not a given. I don't know, something seems really off about that. Also, I'm going to say, as someone who buys all of their games physically like this and still plays Mario Strikers on the GameCube to this day, it's kind of disappointing that there's a good chance a majority of the content that we're going to be seeing here, right, coming up in updates, won't be on the cartridge. I mean, it's unfortunate. 20 years from now, that cartridge is going to still look the way it does right now. So if they add in modes, characters, all these different things, it's a good chance this game's going to look completely different in a year or 2. And unfortunately, that cartridge will not represent that decades from now. So the first thing I do in the short term is fix the lobby system so you can have 4 different Switch systems, team up from a club, and go online against other people. Seems pretty straightforward, so I'm hoping that's something they're working on. And then on top of that, I understand they're probably not going to implement any kind of career mode, but I would like to see more things for the online side. Like they could do penalty shootouts as kind of a fun thing for mini games that then also rank against other clubs, or you can play against friends. You can already kind of curve the ball and do different things as you are shooting. So the idea to kind of put it in a different perspective and have like these really fun shootouts, that'd be kind of neat. Or do something with the goalies, because the goalies, I don't get it. Sometimes the goalies are just incredible, and then other times they're worse than what I've seen on the GameCube like 18 years ago or something. It's crazy. So what some of these goalies will do, they'll just fall over for no reason, the ball go in. Other times, they'll stand on their head, spin it around, knocking every single ball back at you. You know, actually would have been kind of cool as one of the bigger twists in this game is if they let a human player take control of the goalie as a position outright. That would actually be a position that's worth becoming good at for your club. If each club had like 2 or 3 goalies and everyone's like pulling at them like, hey, you got to come with us, please. Like, you're the best goalie in our club and we have to win this match. That would just add an extra layer of strategy to it, and it would take the randomness out of the computer attempting to play the goalie. But overall, it's quite sad that I actually have to make a video like this after Mario Strikers Battle League has released. I thought I would have been really excited about it afterwards. I've been playing it all the time, but I can't even do that technically. So let me know your guys' thoughts though down below. Very disappointed in Next Level Games and Nintendo with this outing for Mario Strikers Battle League. But hey, it's their live service game, so maybe they can fix it. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.